Be a creator, not a destroyer. There remains a great deal of online content that's very negative, that is whiny, angry, or overtly hostile. Many content creators hold a persistent attitude of small-minded negativity. I strongly believe that it's important not to develop this kind of mindset. It damages both creators and content consumers. So we need a framework to discuss the problem. This is why I propose the idea of expansive mode online content versus constrictive mode online content. To put it simply, expansion mode is constructive, creative, and often uplifting. It's typified by the spirit of generosity and elevates the spirit, as if our boundaries are shifting outward and upward. Expansion mode represents the embodiment of the deep self. The constriction mode of expression, conversely, is fearful and angry. In its essence, it is mean-spirited and makes us feel smaller and less connected. It takes us into the world of drama and projection and away from our deep selves. The motivation for me in developing this simple distinction is to be able to easily identify when my mindset is falling into bad online habits, and secondly, to assist other individuals and online communities to do the same. My goal is to work in expansive mode as much as possible and reduce time spent in constrictive mode, both as creator and consumer. I believe that when we take action in the world, including in online environments, our consciousness, field, and tone responds to our mental state. This includes our intentionality. Expansion and constriction modes propagate contrasting mental fields. Therefore, their respective tones are very different. Thus, not only does our neurophysiology change when we shift between these modes, but our consciousness field shifts along with it. The felt sense of opening or closing that we experience within modes of consciousness is thus not merely metaphorical. That feeling represents our energy field expanding or contracting. But how do we know when we're in expansion mode? These are the signifiers. There's a sense of expansion, opening, and growth. The energy is creative, receptive, generous, and open. The space is hopeful, with a strong sense of attainable vision for self, society, and planet. There is movement towards a solution and/or creative process. There is intellectual humility and curiosity with an attitude of, I may be right, but you may also be right. Finally, the energy is often good-humored and light-hearted. On the other hand, constriction mode tends to feature the following characteristics. There's a sense of contraction, closing, smallness, mean-spiritedness. The energy is destructive and/or domineering, where a common threat or enemy must be struck down. There is a sense of victimhood, blame, and projection. There's minimal focus on a positive, attainable vision for self, society, or planet. There's a sense of intellectual certainty or arrogance. I know best, I'm right, you're wrong. There is a limited culture of listening, but much lecturing, judging, and moralization. Finally, the culture is very self-serious, or the humor is sarcastic and derogatory. So the ideal is to spend a majority of your time online within spaces and communities where the dominant consciousness structure is expansive and, where possible, reduce time spent in constrictive spaces. Habits of body and mind greatly impact our ability to embody our deep selves. Therefore, both our consciousness field and our physiology needs to be deliberately shaped to reflect the values of the deep self. Further, developing mentally expansive habits, online and offline, is not only good for you, it's good for everyone you encounter. For once you're grounded in expansion mode and in embodied presence, you'll be a force of good in the world. When you're in conscious relationship with people, you automatically become a teacher. And the lesson you teach is who you are. In this way, you become a facilitator of souls.